It is nearly Halloween, and what better way to celebrate than with a collaboration between Danny from Wizardry Workshop and myself. Our prompt is floating pumpkins, but I might have incorporated a Deathday party. Hello my lovely ravens, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for another collaboration with Danny from Wizardry Workshop, and I know you all enjoy these collaborations, and I hope this one is no exception. Here is my mood board that I'm working off of, and I suppose we better get into the project. I came up with a book nook kind of situation for this project, where I will be creating a table that stands inside of it, with the pumpkins floating above it with lights inside them. This book nook template is available for purchase as a digital download for lazy cutting in my Etsy store if you are interested in creating your own. Whilst I assemble this book nook, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Halloween and the Deathday party at Hogwarts. The Halloween feast at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry occurred on the 31st of October every year. The Halloween feast was usually festooned with sweets-filled pumpkins, bats, orange streamers, water snakes, goblets of colored sweets, and all sorts of Halloween-related decorations. There was usually some entertainment at the end, which may have been by the Hogwarts ghosts who popped out of the walls and did formation gliding. In the first movie, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, there are floating pumpkins in the Great Hall, and that is also the prompt for this video collaboration. Now that I've painted the entire exterior of this book nook, I'm going to work on the floors, which will be made from egg cartons. You all know that I love to use this for textured walls and floors. And if you see a band-aid on my left index finger, you're right, I cut myself pretty badly with this very sharp knife that I just replaced the blade of. Knives are sharp, be careful. Halloween is a very important date in the Harry Potter books. Either during or after the feast in the first 4 books, something fateful happens. The Troll, the Chamber of Secrets reopening, Sirius Black's attack on the Fat Lady, and Harry Potter's name emerging from the Goblet of Fire. In the 7th book, we discover that the date, 31st October, is significant, as it is the date of James and Lily Potter's death in 1981. After gluing all the tiles on, I'm going over with 2 layers of Mod Podge because I want to put grout in with this filler, which is basically wall filler, and I don't want it to stick to the porous cardboard. So I'm going in with this filler here, and then I can wipe it down with a wet cloth. The 500th Deathday party of the ghost Nicholas the Mimsy Porpington, who haunted Hogwarts Castle as the ghost of Gryffindor Tower, was a celebration thrown by said ghost, commonly called Nearly Headless Nick, as his head hung on by only an inch of skin, to commemorate the day he died. The party included a candlelit dinner of rancid, molded food, the smell of which would gag a normal living human. Sir Nicholas was sentenced to death by beheading after a teeth-straightening spell went wrong on a woman named Lady Grieve. Unfortunately, the executioner assigned to decapitate Nick had a blunt axe. Thus, even after 47 hacks into his neck, Nick's head was only partially severed. Here I am assembling the table. It's a very simple table. I cut out with my laser cutter these table legs and 2 tabletops. I will, however, add another tabletop on top of that one because I didn't think it was large enough. Sir Nicholas was executed on the dawn of the 31st October 1492. When I was assembling my book nook, I figured that to prevent the windows from falling inside the diorama, I needed a kind of an extra edge on the outside, and this is how they will sit. So if you make this, you can place acetate on the inside of the windows, and then The outside should sit in the frame of the window quite nicely, and you can of course let your imagination run wild with what you can do with this book nook. For the acetate windows that I'm going to place inside mine, I added a grid of a diamond pattern, so it looks a little bit more like a castle window. And before I place the acetate inside or behind the window, I am going to age up the window frames. Nick returned as a ghost due to his fear of death and presumably held a Deathday party every year for 5 centuries to mark the anniversary of the day he died. And this is what it looks like when all the windows are in and are done. These are all still removable. In the template is also a version where the windows are all not removable, so you can kind of mix and match with windows that are removable versus the windows that are not removable. Here is the table that I created and painted, and this is how it sits inside, and this is where I wanted it to be a little bit larger, so out of some chipboard I just hand cut a tabletop there. Moving on to the pumpkins, I had really no idea how I was gonna make hollow pumpkins. So what I did was I grabbed a piece of tin foil, wrapped some polymer clay around it, shaped it into a pumpkin, baked it, and then I removed the tin foil that was still inside. And let me tell you, making tiny miniature pumpkins is really fun to do. In honor of his 500th death day, Sir Nicholas took the liberty of decorating one of the castle's roomier dungeons with black candles, which gave off a bluish glow and many black hangings. Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day party is unfortunately completely omitted from the film adaptation of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. However, as I mentioned before, the Death Day party is in Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm really glad they put that in. This hollow bead maker by Sculpey, I've had that for a while, and I've always thought to use that to make miniature plates. It is hollow or domed, if you will, whichever way you want to use it, and you can shape a plate over it or a piece of flattened polymer clay over it, and then you can cut it out with a circle cutter like this, and then you can put this entire thing in the oven and bake it, and then you have plates or bowls, whatever you want to call them. I will try to find this product, and if I do, I will leave it in the description box below so you can find your own if you wanted one, plus all the other supplies. I will always leave a link in the description box below if I know where to find these things. From another mold, I use a part of a mold here, and that is just this little cheap one that I got from AliExpress or Temu at some point, and I thought that would be perfect for platters. Anyway, back to the pumpkins that are now baked, and I'm just wiggling out that tin foil here, and I thought to place back the bases of the pumpkins, but I didn't in the end because it was not necessary, and it shone more light on the table below. So here's me placing the lights inside, and I do that mostly off camera because that was a little bit complicated. And now that all the pieces are baked and ready to be painted, it is obviously paint time, which is my favorite part of miniature sculpting, or sculpting in general, I suppose. I made little candlesticks. This is just a bead cap with a toothpick. And back to the pumpkins. I'm going back and forth a little bit with the painting because, you know, things that are painted are drying, and then I just pick up the next piece that needs to be painted. And like I just said, this is just my favorite part, so I really enjoyed this process. I made the platters. Now I obviously need to make the food. This is going to be the maggoty haggis, and I really had a lot of fun making these foods, I have to say, and they were kind of easy to make as well. I know I'm putting the unbaked clay on the already baked and painted tray, but this is okay. It's okay to go in the oven again once it's painted with acrylic paint. It is totally fine. And here I'm rolling out some carrots, some little carrots that will go in a bowl later on. And then after I made the haggis, I decided I needed some lettuce underneath. So I took off the 2 pieces of haggis and put some lettuce leaves. I will paint them later, you will see, but they needed to go underneath. And here we have the maggoty haggis. I will add some maggots later on as well. I think I did that off camera. And now moving on to the rotten fish. This is going to be the tombstone cake, or tombstone shaped cake, I should say. And yeah, this was just a lot of fun to create, and I added some more detail with these molds, and I have a skeleton mold too, and I just use a small skeleton. That's this one. And again, I will leave all the products that I've used in the description box below. I'm using this small skeleton to add that little detail on the Deathday cake. Here we have the cake complete, but I want to slice off a piece so you can see the interior of the cake as well. So I'm just going to take that out here and then detail it on the inside. Now that everything is baked, it is time to paint it, and that is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm starting with the maggoty haggis and the lettuce leaves. I try to stay as close to decayed or off food as possible. I don't know if this is really possible. I don't really see decayed food every day. But by looking up stuff online, which is, I don't recommend it, but yeah, carrots turn black and fish is just foul, I suppose. And I hope it comes across. I am kind of proud of the pieces that I've created here, so I hope you like them too. And the cake is just very satisfying when I go over with that lighter paint here. And the inside of the cake, I just painted that white because that detailing is already in there. And then I thought it would have layers of red, almost like a black velvet cake, I suppose. Or black velvet? I said black velvet. Red velvet, that one. This is how often I bake cakes. Not very often. But here is the moldy cake, and it still fits together. But I will put that other piece, that cutout piece, on a plate. Here are all the pumpkins done up with the lights. This is where I turn off the lights so you can see it even better. So I think they turned out really cute, and if I need to use this technique again for another project, I will, because this was very effective. And I can still change the batteries. The top is sitting on loose because that just fits in the top and just sits on top as is. I'm going to paint around the glue so you don't really see that, and the cords and the battery pack. And then I'm going to add this, what is it? It's gauze in the color Sage, and I got that from someone quite some time ago. I'm just gonna scrunch it up and then apply it to the inside of the book nook. I'm going to apply that to the inside at the top, so it kind of drapes down as old drapes, and I'm applying that with hot glue. Now it's time to place the table inside, and also the pumpkins, of course, which go right into the top here. And I think it's time to look what the final diorama looks like. And this, my lovely ravens, is it for this video. The Deathday party with floating pumpkins for this year's Halloween video. I really enjoyed creating this one, and I'm especially proud of the light with the floating pumpkins shining down up on the table. Make sure that you check out Danny's video as well. I'm looking forward to see what he created. If you have any future ideas for collaboration for Danny and myself, please let me know in the comments. We would love to know. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to let me know by leaving a Halloween emoji in the comment section. All my social media can be found in the description box below, and if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos. And of course, become part of the Raven family. Thanks so much for watching, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next one. A happy Halloween. Bye.